Okay, I'm cooking this week Mediterranean kebabs, my version of it. I've tailored the recipe to be for me and my specific diet. So far, what I've done is I've put some spices into the bowl here. This has cumin, coriander, allspice, a little bit of cinnamon, as well as onion powder, garlic powder, and some of that dried minced onion. Normally, this recipe you would make with just, fresh onion. However, I can't tolerate fresh onion in my diet, but I can tolerate a little bit of onion powder in the dried minced onion. So I put that all into here, as well as a little bit of salt and paprika. And the next thing I want to do is I have some parsley here and garlic that I'm going to chop up really finely. Add it to my spices, put in my ground beef, and squeeze some fresh lemon juice. Mix that together, put it in the fridge to basically marinate overnight, and then tomorrow I'll show you how I cook it. I also wanted to add that I'm going to be making a homemade tzatziki sauce, so I'll show you how to do that on Monday when I make it prior to eating my lunch. All right, everybody, as promised, I'm going to show you how to cook the Mediterranean kebabs. Today, since I don't have any kebab sticks, I'm just gonna go ahead and form them into small patties and cook them in my cast iron skillet on the stove. And I'll show you how we're gonna do that. And then tomorrow we'll do the tzatziki sauce, and then everything will be ready to eat. It'll be delicious. Hey everybody, it's time to make the tzatziki sauce. But the first thing we're gonna do is make sure you wash your vegetables. So we're gonna wash our cucumber, which I've actually already pre-washed this one, and we're going to peel it, de-seed it, so take out the seeds, dice it, place it into a bowl that has a paper towel in it, sprinkle salt on it, and we're gonna let it sit for about an hour. This is gonna help get the excess water out of the cucumber, so when we put it into our yogurt, the yogurt won't get watery and we won't have a watery tzatziki sauce. The other thing that you can do is you can take the yogurt that you bought and you can put it into like a fine mesh strainer, and you can drain the yogurt to get rid of the excess liquid, so we have a really thick sauce. I don't have a fine mesh strainer, but I have a regular strainer, and I have some coffee filters. So what you would do is you would take several coffee filters, get them just damp, place them into your colander, put in your yogurt, let it sit for about 45 minutes to an hour to get the excess liquid off, and then we'll be ready to add our other ingredients into our blender, blend that all up, and then we'll add it to our strained yogurt. I wanted to add one more point for everybody regarding the tzatziki sauce that we're making today. This tzatziki sauce is actually on the anti-inflammatory side. I realize that it does contain dairy, but today we're using grass-fed dairy, and grass-fed dairy is allowed on some anti-inflammatory diets. Now, the reason for using grass-fed dairy is because the cows that are fed grass are not fed corn and soy, and corn and soy are very highly inflammatory foods. So if you eat conventional, I should say, conventional dairy, which means it comes from cows that are fed grain feed, which contains corn and soy, that is very inflammatory, and that's something you don't want to do if you have an autoimmune issue. So my recommendation is that if you have any gut issues or autoimmune illnesses or disorders, that you look into consuming grass-fed dairy, because this will not contain corn and soy, and the cows are only fed grass, and that's good for you. That's what we want. The other thing I wanted to point out is that we peeled and de-seeded our cucumber, and this is important because the peel and the seeds in the cucumber contain a plant protein called lectins, and lectins can cause inflammation within the gut. So if you have an autoimmune disorder or illness, or you just have some issues with your gut, peeling and de-seeding your vegetables is very important. And this goes for all vegetables. Any vegetables that have a skin or seeds, you want to get rid of the skin, you want to get rid of the seeds, and you don't want to eat that because it can cause inflammation within your gut. Doing these two things has made a huge difference for me in my diet and with my autoimmune illnesses. So I encourage you to make these changes if you have autoimmune illnesses too, or just some issues with your gut. While we're waiting for our yogurt to drain and our cucumbers to drain to get the excess liquid off, let's prepare our other ingredients. We're going to need 1 tablespoon of chopped dill, and we're also going to need half of a lemon squeeze, which I've already done here, and then you'll want to get 3 cloves of garlic ready. I'm cheating and I'm using garlic that's already peeled, but I'll get out 3 cloves and I'm going to put it into my blender that I have here, and I'll show you guys when I do that. And we also are going to need some olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. I have our cucumbers here that we've chopped up and salted, and we let them sit. And I'm gonna squeeze them out now so I could put it into my blender and blend our dill, olive oil, garlic, and lemon juice together. So just pick it up and give it a good squeeze. And you can see how much liquid is coming out, and you just don't want that liquid in our sauce, or we're gonna have really watery tzatziki sauce, which is not going to taste good. Dropped a couple here in the bowl. Just pick them up and squeeze them. Just trying to get as much as I can out. All right, I think that's good. Now I'll show you, we're just gonna blend it up in the blender. And then we'll add it to our yogurt, and we'll salt and pepper our sauce. All right, our mixture is done in the blender, so let's take it out and put it into our container that we will be putting our yogurt in for our tzatziki sauce. I left this a little bit chunky, so it's up to you. You can make it really smooth, or you can keep it on the chunky side. Now I'm going to take the yogurt that we've been straining, and I'm going to add it back to our mixture here. So I want to show everybody how much excess liquid came off of our yogurt. Let me set this over to the side. But see, look at all of that we drained, plus the water off of the cucumber. That will keep our sauce really thick. So our sauce is here. It looks delicious. I've added salt to taste, so just add however much salt you want for your taste buds. Now we're gonna chill in the fridge for at least 1 hour before it's ready to eat. That will help all the flavors come together and make the flavor much better as opposed to eating it right away.